Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to this session on Oman Oil and Gas Industry, ICV Enablement on JSRS. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker, Mr. Sajith, Manager, Support Operation at Business Gateways. Mr. Sajid will be our guide through this important session of the Joint Supplier Registration System, JSRS, and in-country value ICV enablement. Without further ado, so please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to Mr. Sajid as he shares his valuable insights. So over to you, Mr. Sajid.
Thank you, Shaima. And thank you, John. And I would like to thank the visitors of this event today. And I will also would like to thank all the exhibitors who are supporting the initiative of showcasing the Oman's potential to Tanzania and the world. And I'm just sharing my screen, my presentation. So, okay. Shaima, can you confirm, is this shared?
Yes, it's visible. Yeah.
Thanks, thank you. We are today we're going to have this session about the ICV, in-country value initiatives within Oman. And all nowadays in all the countries, they are looking at their local content or in-country value as one of the core objective of one of the national initiative to make sure the economy is getting benefit out of the spend which is retained within the country. So as part of the 2040 vision of Oman, there is a digital transformation is happening all over Oman, and in-country value is one of the main area where we are focusing on for digital enablement of ICV. We Business Gateways is an IT-enabled service providers. We are started our operations in 2010, and we are into build on operate model and with delivering various IT-enabled services in the national level to support the country's initiatives and objectives. Our timeline started in 2010 as a business-to-business framework, national business framework, which we call for to have a B2B engagement between the companies. It was started for an SME initiative to showcase the SME companies to their potential capabilities and the product or services that they are offering. And then they can connect with other companies who are looking at their product and services. So then in 2014, we have implemented the Joint Supplier Registration System, which is actually a supplier registration and certification system for the oil and gas industry, which is initiated by the Ministry of Energy and Minerals for entire oil and gas industry. 2017, we are also implemented a platform for national Omani citizens for their fuel subsidy system. That is also one of the in-country value initiative, which supports the national citizens of Oman to get their subsidies for fuel. And in 2020, that has also extended to electricity subsidy also. And there is a plan of bringing water subsidy as part of this platform. In 2019, the JSRS is extended with JSRS contracts management system, which is one of the tools which support the ICV implementation within the contract or pre-contracting stage, or even during the contracting stage. And in the JSRS contracts management system, it will support with the tool that will monitor the subcontracting process and ICV enablement within the entire supply chain of the project. 2019, we are also build a platform called Invest in Oman for the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, which will support the investors to register and connect with various investment projects. And 2022, we bring BidProc, which is an e-tendering and e-auction platform to support the communities or support the companies to with the cloud platform where they can use the e-tendering or e-auction features within. And then in 2023, we are already implemented one portal for OPAL, Oman's oil and gas apex body, and this platform is supporting the training providers registrations and the candidates registration and certification within the oil and gas industry. And Arab Africa Framework is one of the initiatives which is in progress, and that will be supporting the country level initiatives of ICV project, and then the sharing of ICV value between the countries. And also, RAP is one of the initiative which is for the Oman's various industries to identify local manufacturers and their products, and to showcase these products in a platform where the Oman Tender Board, where all the ministries' projects are getting sourced to be connected with for their demand and supply of the local products. And also, there is an ICV monitoring system, which is currently in progress of development that is enabled for OIA, Ministry of Oman Investment Authority. It is an authority who manage the state-owned enterprises within Oman. When we talk about ICV enablement, this can be happen in two major levels: project level ICV and industry-wide ICV. Under project level ICV, there is pre-contracting ICV enablement and post-contracting ICV enablement. Mainly pre-contracting ICV enablement consists identifying the suppliers, because whenever we talk about ICV, one of the major challenge is to identify the right suppliers to give the ICV value. So the pre-contracting ICV enablement support the supplier identification by providing a platform to supplier registration, categorization of the suppliers based on the various input that the industry would like to have, and then proceeding to a certification process and to maintain the supplier data. And then supplier sourcing and tendering. Once we identify the supplier, the next step is to provide this platform, connect with the demand. So the buyers can get into the system and shortlist the suppliers that they are looking for, and to make sure the ICV obligation is given to the right suppliers. And then finally, the supplier shortlisting and awarding. So there also, the ICV is having a major role when you are identifying the suppliers who responded to the inquiries, and then you have to shortlist based on their ICV retention value, how much each companies, based on their the plans that they have collected during the tendering process. Based on the ICV plan, ICV contribution plan, how much is the companies are contributing towards those projects, so that based on that they can select which one they want to award that tender or the project. Then comes to post award. What happened after the contracting, how this ICV can be monitored. The ICV monitoring will come after the contract. So when they award, they are committing to certain ICV compliance or ICV obligations, which the system will be capable to monitor after the award, post-award stage. That can be either plan versus actuals, which is the tender during the tendering, whatever the plan that they have submitted versus the actual spend or actual subcontracting that happening after the contracting. And also this will also monitor the subcontractor monitoring. Means the contract might go to a subcontract level, and then again this ICV will be implemented to the next level. So that next level subcontracting level also, how the ICV is distributed, or ICV spent happening within the subcontract level also can be monitored, which will finally give them an ICV analytics, how much during this project implementation, what is the spend has happened within various levels of supply chain. An industry-wide ICV is mainly as ICV certification system to recognize the companies who are contributing towards the ICV and certifying them, and so that these ICV certified companies can be considered for the further procurement process. Now, if we go ICV enablement at project level, let us go through the JSRS, how JSRS is supporting the oil and gas industry with this ICV enablement. So JSRS, as we mentioned before, it is one of the ICV initiative of the Ministry of Energy and Minerals for implementing the ICV. The main objective of JSRS is to identify the right suppliers. How many suppliers are available local, how many international suppliers are available, and where they can spend, or where they can identify the supplier that they are looking for the buyers or for the procurement within the oil and gas industry. And currently, the JSRS is expanded to other industries as well. Just for the knowledge purpose, I'm sharing that info. And the JSRS is one of the build on operate model we have implemented within Oman under the Ministry of Energy and Minerals. And the core three major components of it is one, supplier acquisition and certification, which is involved propagations, where awareness creation within the industry and with outside the industry or even internationally. So the suppliers has to support this platform to make sure the right supply of products and materials is available when there is a demand from the oil and gas industry of Oman. Then onboarding. So once you identify the suppliers, we have to support them to get into the system and preparing them for getting the JSRS certification. There is a documentation required, and there is certain compliance that they have to complete to get JSRS certified. And then the validation and certification, which is based on the suppliers' submissions. We will validate and certify the suppliers, and the certification will be maintained by updating the content or reminding the suppliers to update the content and do renewals of their certification. Then other side, there is buyer communities who are going to source their suppliers according to their requirement from the JSRS certified supplier pool, and then the contracts management system, which will support them to monitor their ICV obligation within their main contractors and to subcontractor or subcontractor to subcontractor. So in entire supply chain, it will help support them to monitor their ICV obligation. MEM, Ministry of Energy and Minerals, who governs the system, who mandate the buyers or the suppliers to use the JSRS system to register for supplier demand, to showcase their suppliers, their product and services, and buyers to use for their sourcing. And also, MEM will be monitoring the entire ICV activities happening within the JSRS. The JSRS is having a support layer where Business Gateways is providing our expertise with chat support, call center support, and ticketing system, and various reports and analytics. Also, JSRS is supported by integrating with other systems, which is government systems and the systems where the data sources are important for JSRS supplier certifications. As discussed, supplier acquisition and certification involves JSRS propagation, where we have such initiatives to present JSRS within the potential supplier group, and also JSRS will have engagement with various government agencies, sector partners, and bodies. And also we have national, international seminars and exhibitions, and even roadshows and webinars to targeted supplier communities. And we also do partner programs to support certain group of suppliers to onboard themselves and be visible for the oil and gas industry of Oman. And social media engagement also we do, surveys and feedbacks also we, as part of the propagation mechanism, we process. A quick run through on the JSRS supplier onboarding. The JSRS supplier onboarding and certification is completely an online process where the supplier themselves can complete their complete process with using online platform. So they can register online, they can do their payments or their company profile creations, showcasing their product and services, then which goes to multiple stages of the validation. In tier 1 validation, we will identify the suppliers' profiles are able to enable on the national business framework where they can start their B2B engagements. And then we will encourage the suppliers to complete their submission of document for the next level of validation where we issue the JSRS certification. And also for local companies, we have a site visit process where we make sure the companies are operating within Oman, and then we issue the JSRS supplier for the successful companies. And then there is an additional layer where they can go for additional certifications with their respective buyers according to that requirement. So this will create a separate pool of suppliers, so it's a separate pool of certified suppliers for those buyer according to those buyers' requirement. It can be a kind of a pre-qualification or pre-qualified supplier pool that those buyers can directly start utilizing for their sourcing purpose. During the validation, the suppliers will have been segregated based on their informations. We are collecting the suppliers sector-wise, industry-wise segmentation, and their RIADA, which is a kind of an SME certification, which is supporting the small and medium enterprises in Oman, and that RIADA certification, LCC, local community contractors companies, we are identifying through the JSRS. And also their incorporation style, what is their incorporation style, that also captured business source, their activities according to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, what the activities that the suppliers are providing, their ICV Omanization data, the number of employees within Oman or outside Oman, what is their utilizing that, and their product and services based on their UNSPC codes, and also MOCI classifications, contract data, shareholders information, and geozone distributions. So these data we've been capturing and categorizing suppliers so that the sourcing will be easy for the buyers. As the certified JSRS supplier pool can be used by various JSRS buyers, and buyers have different options to source the suppliers. They can either directly have their tendering in place using the JSRS tendering tools, or they can download the supplier data and they can use their internal systems for doing their procurement process, or they can also integrate the supplier, JSRS certified pool within their internal IT system, so that their internal processes will use the JSRS data directly from the system. And also they are having option for monitoring the subcontracting mechanism, which using the contracts management system. I will explain the contracts management system in the next slide. So the contracts management system is having a key role in implementing the ICV within oil and gas sector. The reason why, because the main spend which is happening within a project is on the procurement, and in the procurement, when they are putting certain obligations to spend within the country, then it has to be monitored accordingly. So this monitoring is supported with the tool which is called contracts management system within oil and gas industry. When there is an SME or LCC obligation, local community contractor or SME companies obligations to a contract, that contract need to be processed through the JSRS contracts management system, which will track and monitor the entire supply chain process. It's initiate from the operator. Operator in the sense it can be the project owner who initiate the contract, and then when they are awarding to a main contractor, the system capture this data, and the system enables the main contractor to utilize the features of the contracts management system to do their tendering process. Whatever the tendering process that they are doing, their internal system, all that they can utilize the JSRS contracts management platform to do the tendering, where they have a EOI, expression of interest, or pre-qualification, or even a complete sealed bid process where the tender opening committee, tender evaluation committee all are involved. So all this process can be utilized through the platform of JSRS contracts management system, and then they can process to the subcontract. And this will record, the system will record these transactions, who are being invited for that particular inquiry, and who are being shortlisting, and who are being getting awarded. All this data will be captured in the system, and all the entire audit trial will be available for future validations. And then SMEs and LCCs who finally getting the award from the system. And this also module will be supported by all the user support, training, and portal operations from business gateways. The JSRS is not a standalone system, which is also integrating with various systems and working to support the communities, buyers, and suppliers. So the JSRS system is integrated with the payment gateways and SMS services, which will support the system to do the online payments and SMS authentications. And also the Ministry of Commerce and Industry of Oman also are in process of integrating with JSRS, where the supplier data of Oman supplier data will be automatically fetched into the JSRS system. JSRS buyers, like there are around 23 buyers using the JSRS suppliers as part of their mandate from the Ministry of Energy and Minerals, and some of them are already integrated with the JSRS, where they can directly use the supplier data through their internal system, which is integrated with JSRS. And Ministry of Labor, one of the ICV's core thing is to identify the workforce, whether it's available from the Oman or expatriate. So this data is actually captured directly from the Ministry of Labor by integrating JSRS with Ministry of Labor's website. And also, we have an ICV monitoring and reporting system, which is monitoring the ICV report from each contractors to their project owners. And that is also integrated with JSRS to make sure the suppliers that they are claiming or they are reporting in the ICV system is actually certified suppliers, and they are compliant to ICV obligations. The JSRS is also having support from our support team, which will provide we are providing the support in various ways using our ticketing system, where the suppliers or the users of the system can raise a ticket by sending a mail or directly raising the ticket, or there will be an agent to support the suppliers to their onboarding process. We've been hand-holding the suppliers from the beginning of the registration until they get the certification. And also there is a WhatsApp support, online chat, call center support, and also there is a support mechanism where they can schedule the meetings with the support team, or there will be training sessions continuously happening, weekly training sessions, physical training sessions, online training sessions we used to have. And the various engagement sessions, various roadshow to support the suppliers how to use the JSRS platform and how they can benefit out of this. And we do various surveys and feedbacks to get the responses from the users of the system and to enhance the system. And very soon we are going to release the new version of JSRS, which will have more technological advanced modules and user support on that part. Now, when the next portion of the ICV enablement is at the industry-wide ICV, where we recognizing the companies who are contributing towards the ICV. So this mechanism will be supported by enabling the ICV through a transparent and technology-driven process. So this will be supported with the JSRS, new version of the JSRS, where the suppliers will be having an ICV engine, or the users of the system will have an ICV engine within the JSRS, which will be supporting all the users of the system to report their ICV and drive their ICV enablement and monitoring process through that system. And finally, all this data, whatever the ICV engine is capturing, will lead to the ICV certification process, in which there are in Oman we are having different pillars of ICV, which will include workforce I mentioned before, and then goods and services, where the spend is happening local goods or international goods, or even within local goods. If you look at whether SME goods are being used or local manufacture, origin Oman goods are being used. So these kind of various further down elements of the ICV is been captured in the system, which will be direct project owner direct spend also capture, as well as the contractor and subcontractor spend also will capture the system. And this data capture can be configured based on the industry to industry or to project. And then the integrations also will be support this data to capture directly from its source. For example, when we talk about the workforce, the data can be captured from the Ministry of Labor, or from when we talk about the companies of Oman, the data can be captured directly from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So these data sources will require a lesser validation of the data, a manual validation of the data, because it is coming from the source. And then the data that are captured, it go through a performance measuring process, where actually the ICV policies are going to be drive the ICV performance to capture the ICV performance based on the ICV target or ICV KPIs that they have configured in the system. Based on that, how good how much they against the target that the actuals has been reported. And based on this, the KPI performance will be captured, and this will be lead to an ICV certification, ICV scoring, and a certification mechanism. So this will be help this certification later than being used for contracting purposes. And of all this data will be finally getting into reports and analytics. And with this slide, I'm winding up my presentations, and I would like to thank all of the visitors and exhibitors here once again, and thanks for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Sajith. I would like to thank Mr. Sajith for the informative presentation on the JSRS and ICV enablement. We appreciate actually your time and effort to share your insights with us. So I would like even to inform all the people they're able to watch us. Please stay tuned for the next session, and thank you so much.